sintana peso jirgin kana taiga. Jirgin kana taiga ikoi falu ikoi kogu. Kogu kal faluan. Faluan kal loga. Log ne ka kai.
Warin haihuwa shi ya kawo min cikin dalilin dogon nakuna na haihuwa da maza.
Maintenant, qu'est-ce qui amène le travail d'accouchement difficile? C'est surtout, parfois il y a des femmes de petite taille, qu'elles soient très jeunes ou bien parce que naturellement elles sont petites, qui vont faire que leur bassin n'est pas conforme à un accouchement normal.
Kone kocheni nite inzanta idu katera ina katera ina Vicent kanyame
Kamaga
nyame
kanya nilingana sababu gadi tachino
There is a true lack of health care. There are, I think, 40 surgeons in this whole country of 13 million people. There is poor infrastructure, so that if there is a clinic and it happens to be staffed, which is rare, how do you get to it? And by the time you do get somewhere, if there's someone at the clinic, you're lucky.
Prolonged obstructed labor can wear a hole in the tissue of a woman's bladder or rectum, called a fistula. The result, if left untreated, is permanent incontinence.
They become ostracized. It's a shameful condition.
The social stigma of fistula can be as devastating for these women as the loss of their child.
They're leaking urine all the time. It gets on their clothing. Other people don't want to be around them.
It's very sad for the women because they want to do things and they want to be part of society, but
da ki zo na likita mai gidanki ya rako ki ko ya sa kudi
ko so guda.
It gets to the point where some of these women will actually commit suicide because the fistulas continue, they keep leaking, nobody wants to be around them. It's just a horrible way to be.
In the year 2000, Barbara Margulies began working in Niger's capital of Niamey.
I was teaching in Niger for the American State Department, and I was introduced to the problem and said, whoa, I never knew what fistula was. And I thought, how could women live like this, and why can't we do something about it?
In 2003, Barbara created the International Organization for Women in Development and brought a team of American surgeons to Niger.
I never thought it would be daunting, to be honest with you. I just knew I had to do it. I sat down with the government and I said, you have to help. We can do just so much by bringing the doctors, the nurses, the techs, the medicines, the equipment. You have to get the women. They announce that we are in Niamey each time we come. The hospital puts out an announcement, Peace Corps puts out announcements, and we get hundreds of women coming in every time we're there. They take buses, they take bush taxis, they come on carts. The women travel for days. So it's a tough thing for them to come. But little by little, the government is working with us and getting the word out, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Ma gida na sai an kace mu da an zaka an yi ma wata. An kace an yi ma wata can mutum da kasan mu. Magani ne ka so a yi. ban jin komi lahiya ne ka bida.
There are so many women living in the courtyard. There's like a little city that has grown up, and everyone gets a job to sweep or to cook. They're welcomed, they're fed, they have showers, there's a place to wash their clothing, and there's care. Someone cares about them. There's a lot of touching, there's a lot of hugging, and that hasn't happened to these women in a very, very long time. These are women who have been isolated, for some of them for 5-10 years. Before, the women were shunned, no one talked to them, no one touched them. Now they can sit and talk with one another and share stories or whatever it is that they want to share, but they have each other. And the camaraderie among the women who all share the same problem is very remarkable.
Now that she is cured, Mariama works for IOWD as a nurse's aide at the National Hospital in Niamey.
We are trying to take care and help as many of these women as we can. They're really outcasts, and we're trying to help them to rejoin civilization.
The most important thing is that you have the cooperation of the government and the local staff and the director and the chief of surgery at that hospital. It is this continuous ability to operate from early in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. That's the kind of relationships that we have established.
The IOWD have everything in place, from the airport to the hotel where we stay and the hospital. And the nurses and the doctors are all very supportive of the program.
It's just a fantastic experience to go and see and then get back from the American doctors the feelings that they have having spent 2 weeks in Niger. And everyone signs up for the next year.
IOWD has now made 20 trips to Niger and operated on over 1,000 women. They've also donated $5 million worth of equipment, supplies, and medicine.
Nous, on a engagé même un processus de réconciliation avec le couple. C'est-à-dire qu'on présente cette femme après 6 mois à son mari. Pour dire, on invite le mari à venir avec sa femme pour dire que vraiment maintenant votre femme est guérie. Il n'y a aucun problème, elle peut retourner chez vous et faire une vie normale. Donc en fait c'est l'objectif même du traitement médical, du traitement chirurgical plutôt. Et donc à la fin de ça, la femme doit retrouver sa vie sociale et conjugale normale.
The patients were appreciative, and how the whole program is going seems to be a lot of help and development for Niger, and I hope this will continue. And hopefully with the education, we have less and less of these problems, and then maybe one day we won't have the Fistula program anymore.
The true help will be when they put us out of business by having obstetrical care back in the areas where we get the patients from. And I would love to see that, but it's not going to be for a while.
In their effort to help women with fistula in Niger, IOWD will continue to send teams of doctors to Niger 4 times a year. In addition, they hope to raise enough money to build a comprehensive women's healthcare clinic in Niamey.
You cannot fix every single woman because some are so damaged. But if you take a woman who's had fistula for 10 or 15 years and you can fix her in 1 or maybe 2 operations, she could go home. She waited for 10 or 15 years living like this, like a leper. And then you tell them you can go home and they cry because they don't know what it means to be free of this. And it is just so emotionally overwhelming for us that we continue to cry every time we can deliver that kind of news. When someone grabs your hand and says thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you over and over and over again, that's enough. That's all you really need.